Hi everyone. So I haven't seen anyone do GAR yet, so that is what I'm going to do for my video discussion board. So I chose the Australopithecus gari. I'll refer to it as gari in this. Gari was discovered in 1990, and it's believed to be one of the most important fossils recovered because it's believed to be the oldest hominin to ever make and use stone tools. Gari was found in Bori, which is the Middle Awash in Ethiopia, and the first piece of Gari was found in 1990, and then from 1996 to 1998 there was more pieces found, and so there was a gap in between, but there were more pieces that are still believed to be a part of Gari, and that was found by the Ethiopian paleontologist Bahrain Asfar and the American paleontologist Tim White. They named the Australopithecus that they found Gari in 1997, and Gari means surprise in the Afar language. And after studying Gari, they believe that it fits into maybe one or both the Africanus or the Afarensis species, and it's also believed to possibly be a sister species to the Robustus. Due to the teeth fossils that they found, they were kind of similar, so they believe that it could be a sister species. The pieces that they recovered were separated. One was cranium and other skull fragments, and then later on in the same layer of strata they found skeletal remains of it. So for the cranium and other skull fragments that they found, the most important part that they believed was the skull, and it was minus the lower jaw wasn't there, but there was different pieces of the frontal and the frontal bones, and that's the bones that form the brain case, and then the enclosing the tops and the sides of the brain, so it would be here, and then the maxilla is the bone that makes up the majority of the face and the upper jaw and the teeth. So the teeth were a really important part of it because it told them a lot about what the animal ate, what other skeletal remains it could be related to, and things like that. So this was believed to be the most important piece that they found. They also learned from that the face sticks, they believed that the face stuck outwards and it had really large canines. By looking at the different covering that they found up on the top, they believe that the brain size was approximately 450 centimeters. And then they also found a partial skeletal remain, and it was in the same layer of rock that they found Gari from, so they believe that it's still a part of Gari because there were no other skeletal remains found in this area. And as we know, with the strata and rock layers, there's different layers, and depending on where you find the skeleton, it can date the animal and tell you when it was. So the layer that they found Gari in, they also found skeletal remains, even though they weren't particularly close to one another. They still found a skeletal remain in that same layer of strata rock. So a lot of people believe that it is still a piece of Gari, so a lot of people refer to the skeletal remains also found as Gari. Just like they did with Lucy, they found different pieces and they put it together to form Lucy, is the same thing that happened with Gari. So the skeletal remains that they found indicated that there was a long femur, was a part of Gari, and that suggests bipedal locomotion. And then they also, the thing that was interesting for them was that they also believed that this indicated that the legs were elongated for longer strides, and that this was more similar to the way that we are currently built as humans, although this species also had really long arms. That it's still the closest to human body proportions. And then, as stated before, they also found stone tools in this same layer of rock that Gari was found in. And this is something that's extremely important to the different paleontologists and archaeologists that have studied Gari, because they believe, due to Gari being the only skeletal remain found in that strata layer of rock, that Gari is the oldest species to ever use and create stone tools. These are known as flake tools because they are the most basic and original form of tool. They believe that there was that Gary used volcanic pieces of volcanic rock and cut them and sharpened them. And they also found the skeletal remains of small animals, and there was stone tools found around, and there was also markings on the animal bones that suggested that Gary had butchered and eaten the animals. So that was something that was really important. And then after examining the skeletal remains and trying to recreate the habitat, scientists believe that Gary was found by a lake and that Gary lived in a woodland area, which also defeats the theory that bipedal locomotion was due to grasslands, and that's where it originated from, because the skeletal was believed to be in woodlands and that it was more beneficial for this animal to get around on 2 feet instead of 4 feet. So that's it for Gary.